What if I told you that you're working twice as hard as you need to reach your goals? Not because you're doing the wrong things, but because you're fighting with half your energy. There's an invisible leak in your system that's draining your focus, your drive, and your potential every single day. Let me ask you something. What's your biggest goal right now? Is it building a business that gives you freedom? Maybe it's developing skills that make you irreplaceable? Or perhaps it's creating something that will outlast you. Whatever it is, I guarantee you're working harder than you need to. Not because you're lazy, but because you're fighting an invisible enemy that's stealing your energy every single day. The most powerful man in ancient Rome faced the exact same problem, and he cracked the code. Picture this. You're Rome's most powerful emperor. You command legions, control vast territories, and have access to every pleasure imaginable. Yet you're sitting alone in your tent, writing in your journal about the very thing that could destroy everything you built. That emperor was Marcus Aurelius, and what he wrote about lust and desire 2,000 years ago could be the key to unlocking your potential today. Marcus Aurelius called it the fever of the soul. We call it lust. And before you think this is just about sex, let me stop you right there. This goes way deeper. Before we dive into what Marcus discovered, do me a quick favor and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're on a mission to become the best version of yourself. Lust, in its truest form, is any craving that pulls you away from your purpose. It's that urge to check your phone when you should be focused. It's the mental wandering that happens when you're supposed to be creating. It's the endless scrolling, the binge watching, the seeking of cheap dopamine hits when you could be building something that matters. Think about yesterday. How many times did your mind wander to something trivial when you had important work to do? How many times did you choose the easy distraction over the hard but rewarding task? Here's what Marcus Aurelius understood that most people don't. Every moment you spend chasing these fleeting pleasures is a moment stolen from your future self. Every time you choose the immediate gratification over the long-term vision, you're literally killing your potential. And here's the brutal truth. In today's world, you're being attacked by this stuff constantly. Every app on your phone is designed by teams of psychologists to trigger these cravings. Every advertisement, every notification, every algorithm is engineered to capture your attention and never let it go. You're not fighting fair. You're going up against billion-dollar companies whose entire business model depends on keeping you distracted. But Marcus Aurelius faced something similar. He had access to every pleasure the Roman Empire could offer, yet he chose restraint. Why? Because he understood something profound about human nature. Marcus Aurelius wasn't born disciplined. He wasn't some monk who never faced temptation. He was a man with the same drives and desires as anyone else, but he had something that made him dangerous. He had a system. In his private journal, which we now call Meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." This wasn't just philosophy to him. This was survival. Think about his situation. He was the most powerful man in the world. He could have anything he wanted, anytime he wanted it. If he wanted to spend his days in pleasure, who was going to stop him? Yet he chose to wake up before dawn, to study philosophy, to focus on his duties as emperor. Why? Because he understood that the moment he gave in to these distractions, he would lose everything that truly mattered, his whole empire. He wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." This wasn't about being antisocial. This was about focus, about not letting external distractions derail his mission. But here's where it gets really interesting. Marcus Aurelius discovered that the same energy that fuels lust and distraction can be redirected into incredible productivity and achievement. Instead of fighting these urges, he learned to transform them. He developed what I call the imperial mindset, a way of thinking that automatically converts distraction into focus, weakness into strength, and scattered energy into laser-sharp purpose. The crazy part? This system works just as well today as it did 2,000 years ago. The human brain hasn't changed. The principles of focus and energy management are the same. The only difference is that we face even more distractions than he did. Let's get real about what's happening in your brain when lust hits. Modern neuroscience has proven what Marcus Aurelius understood intuitively. Your brain is constantly seeking stimulation, and it doesn't care whether that stimulation helps you or hurts you. When you experience lust, whether it's for food, entertainment, validation, or anything else, your brain releases dopamine. This isn't bad in itself. Dopamine is what drives motivation and achievement. The problem is that modern life gives you access to cheap, easy dopamine hits that require no effort and provide no lasting satisfaction. It's like being addicted to junk food when you could be eating a perfectly balanced meal. Your brain gets what it thinks it wants, but it leaves you weaker, not stronger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He understood that lust is always about escaping the present moment. When you're fully engaged in meaningful work, when you're completely absorbed in building something that matters, lust has no power over you. But here's the key insight. You can't just resist these urges. Resistance creates tension, and tension eventually breaks. Instead, you need to redirect that energy into something more powerful. Think of it like this. Lust is just misdirected creative energy. It's your brain's way of saying, I want to create something. I want to build something. I want to achieve something. The problem is that instead of creating, you're consuming. Instead of building, you're just taking. Instead of achieving, you're just escaping. The solution isn't to suppress this energy. It's to channel it. Marcus Aurelius mastered this art. And once you understand his method, you'll never look at distraction the same way again. Now, let's get to practical stuff. How do you actually implement this? Marcus Aurelius developed what I call the 3-pillar system for converting lust into potential. This isn't the exact process he used to maintain focus while ruling the most powerful empire in history. Pillar 1, the perspective shift. The first pillar is changing how you see the situation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not truth." When lust hits, most people see it as an overwhelming force they have to resist. Marcus Aurelius saw it differently. He saw it as energy. Raw, powerful energy that was looking for a direction. Instead of seeing lust as the enemy, he saw it as fuel. Instead of fighting it, he learned to redirect it. Here's how you apply this. The next time you feel that pull toward distraction, don't immediately try to push it away. Instead, pause and ask yourself, what is this energy trying to tell me? What does my brain actually want to create right now? Usually, you'll find that the lust is just a distorted version of a deeper desire. Maybe you're scrolling social media because you actually want to connect with people. So redirect that energy into reaching out to someone who matters. Maybe you're binge watching shows because you want to be entertained. So redirect that energy into creating something entertaining yourself. Pillar 2, the immediate action protocol. The second pillar is what Marcus Aurelius called the discipline of action. He wrote, "In the morning when thou risest unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." This is about training yourself to take immediate action when you feel the pull of distraction. Not later, not when you feel more motivated, but right now, in the moment. Here's the protocol. First, acknowledge the feeling. Don't pretend it's not there. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The feeling is an outside event. Your response is what you control. Second, move your body. This is crucial. Lust lives in stillness. It thrives when you're passive. The moment you move, whether it's standing up, doing push-ups, or just changing your position, You break the spell. Third, take one small action toward your goal. Not a big action, just one small step. Write one sentence. Make one phone call. Send one email. The size doesn't matter. What matters is that you're channeling the energy into progress rather than waste. Pillar 3, the long-term vision lock. The third pillar is what separated Marcus Aurelius from everyone else in his position. While other emperors got lost in pleasure and luxury, he stayed connected to his deeper purpose. He wrote, "Remember that very little disturbs a happy life. It is but one's own feelings that disturb it. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about having such a clear vision of what you're building that temporary distractions become irrelevant. Every successful person I know has this quality. They're so connected to their long-term vision that short-term temptations lose their power. They're not resisting pleasure. They're just more excited about their purpose. Here's how to develop this. Write down your vision for the next 5 years. Not just your goals, but your vision. What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of impact do you want to have? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Then, every time lust tries to pull you off course, reconnect with that vision. Ask yourself, does this action move me closer to that vision or further away? The answer is always obvious. Now let's talk about the advanced stuff. The techniques Marcus Aurelius used when the basic system wasn't enough. These are for when you're facing serious temptation, when the usual methods aren't working. The Stoic reframe. Marcus Aurelius was a master of reframing. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." When faced with powerful temptation, he would reframe it completely. Instead of seeing lust as something he was missing out on, he saw it as a prison he was avoiding. Instead of feeling deprived, he felt free. Instead of seeing discipline as restriction, he saw it as liberation. Try this. The next time you feel a strong pull toward distraction, instead of thinking, "I can't do this," think, "I get to focus on what really matters." Instead of "I'm missing out," think, "I'm investing in my future." This is a complete shift in how you perceive the situation. The energy audit. Marcus Aurelius was obsessed with efficiency. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." He understood that energy is finite, and every bit of energy spent on distraction is energy that can't be used for achievement. Here's an exercise he would do. At the end of each day, he would audit his energy expenditure. Where did his mental energy go? What activities gave him energy and what activities drained it? What patterns could he identify? Start doing this yourself. Track your energy for 1 week. Notice when you feel most focused and when you feel most scattered. Notice what triggers your lust and what helps you stay on track. This awareness alone will transform your relationship with distraction. The philosophical anchor. This is the most advanced technique, and it's what made Marcus Aurelius truly unstoppable. He developed what he called his philosophical anchor, a core set of principles that he would return to whenever he felt himself drifting. His anchor was Stoicism, the belief that virtue is the highest good, that we control our responses to events, and that living according to nature means living according to reason rather than emotion. You need to develop your own philosophical anchor. What do you believe about life? What principles guide your decisions? What kind of person do you want to be, regardless of external circumstances? When lust hits, when distraction calls, when the easy path seems tempting, your philosophical anchor keeps you grounded. It reminds you who you are and what you stand for. Let me paint you a picture of what your life looks like when you master the system, when you can redirect the energy of lust into the power of purpose, when you can transform distraction into laser-sharp focus. First, your productivity explodes, not because you're working harder, but because you're working with focused energy instead of scattered attention. Every minute you spend on your goals is a minute of pure, concentrated effort. Second, your confidence skyrockets. There's something incredibly empowering about knowing you can control your own mind. When you're not at the mercy of every random craving or distraction, you develop an unshakable sense of self-control. Third, your relationships improve. When you're not constantly distracted, when you're present and focused, people notice. They want to be around someone who has their act together. But here's the most important part. You start building something that lasts. Instead of just consuming, you're creating. Instead of just taking, you're giving. Instead of just existing, you're building a legacy. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive can bring no benefit to the bee." When you master your lust, when you redirect that energy into your purpose, you don't just help yourself. You help everyone around you. This is your choice. You can continue letting lust steal your potential, or you can start using Marcus Aurelius' system to transform the energy into unstoppable momentum. The emperor figured it out 2,000 years ago. The principles haven't changed. The only question is, are you ready to put them into practice? Here's what I want you to do right now, before you click away from this video. First, identify your biggest source of lust. What distraction pulls you away from your goals most often? Be honest with yourself. Second, write down your 5-year vision. What are you building? What legacy are you creating? Make it specific and compelling. Third, commit to using the 3-pillar system for the next 7 days. Every time you feel the pull of distraction, use a perspective shift, take immediate action, and reconnect with your vision. And finally, remember what Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The power is in your hands. The system is proven. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? Kill lust before it kills your potential. Your future self will thank you. If this message spoke to something deep in you, don't let it end here. Like the video to remind yourself of the standard you're choosing. Subscribe if you're serious about mastering your mind and not being mastered by it. And share this with someone who's losing the fight to distraction. They might need this more than you know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.